Good evening and welcome to the Town of Buxton Selectmen meeting for October 1st, 2025. I'll call this meeting to order at 7:02. The first call is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of prior meeting minutes for September 24th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? That's 3 with 2 absent. Discussions held between 4 and 7. At 4:30, the superintendent of schools came in, just talked to us about if we wanted one of the selectmen or one of the budget committee people to be on a board to help with input on the new budget. We also talked about schools in Standish, Hollis, and Leamington, about trying to consolidate some of those. He said we were number 4 on the list. Old Orchard was ahead of us, and I'm not sure of the other 2, but we were 4th, so he's hoping that we may get some help with financing for to replace Georgie Jack because it's such bad shape. It's an old wooden building, it doesn't have fire suppressants, and there's a lot of things the state doesn't like about it, so it might help us get a little better school out of it. At 5 o'clock, the CEO, Patty McKenna, came in. We talked about some of the yards around town that need to be picked up. She has sent out notices. She's gotten a pretty good response to her notices. A couple of what we consider bad ones they're going to be working on, and a few of the others she hasn't got response from, but she said it was a pleasant response on most of them. So we're hoping that we can get some of these cleaned up without going to court. Then we had a resident come in. He lives on 112, and he's just concerned about the speeds on 112, and he'd like to see some new signage for a sharp corner. So we talked with him for quite a while, and first thing we're going to do is talk to the police chief and see if we can get the speed sign up there to slow people down. He says they're flying really bad. So we'll talk to the police chief about that and see if we can do a little more police in that area to see if we can slow people down. At 6 o'clock, our assistant Donna came in and Kim from HR. We just talked to some general stuff. Kim's catching up the files, trying to make sure everything is signed, everything is organized. There was a lot of holes, and she's put a lot of work into making sure that every file is set up the way it should be, so if we're ever audited or have any problems, we have the paperwork we need to do what we need to do. And we talked with Donna a little bit. I talked to her before the meeting about department heads coming in. That'll start next week, and it'll be every other week for a month or 2, whatever it takes to get every department head in and tell us how they're doing and what's going on and what they need. At 6:30, the treasurer, Bill Hall, came in. We just went over we're going to have a special town meeting the 22nd and to reconcile a couple of the accounts were overspent, and we won't decide on all of that till next week when we have a full board, just because we would rather do it with 5 of us instead of 3 of us. Projects and issues, Chad.
I'd spoken to that resident as well, leading up to the meeting tonight about the traffic and speeding concerns around town. He connected with the police chief and such, and had a couple people talk to me about some yards that were getting a little bit out of control with a lot of stuff in them. And it's always tough in those circumstances there, but but it kind of dovetails into what Dave had just said about Patty sending out letters. So that kind of kept me.
Yeah. Heath.
Yes, so Thursday, Dave and I actually attended our first Eco Maine board members meeting together, just to kind of get acclimated to everything that's going on over there, so they can explain to us how things run. That seemed to be pretty good. Friday morning, I went over and met with Chief Schools and the Assistant Fire Chief. Took a tour of the fire department just to see how things are going over there, check out the new truck, check out some of the rescue, all that type of stuff. Everything seems to be going good over there, and discussed a little bit about what's going on with the decommissioning of the Bar Mills Bridge with the fire chief, because there was some concern about the dry hydrants. Spoke with him about that, and then after that, went over to Town Hall here and spoke at the Brookfield Dam decommissioning, and we're going to be waiting the final study report on that, and that's about it.
Like he said, I was at the Eagle Maine meeting on Thursday night. They were giving us quite a bit of information, things to think about for in the future about recycling. And they're building a new recycling plant at that location in Portland. And it's going to be automated, and there's a lot of good points that could be good for the town. We're just going to have to wait and see what their plan is once they get a little bit closer. And we're going to be sending out for some bids for a trash pickup. And also at the same time, we're going to send a bid out to see how much it would cost to have recycling picked up at the same time. Those are just things that there's nothing final on it. It's just we need to get ahead of it instead of waiting until the contract runs out. The contract doesn't run out for another 18 months. So we just want to be in full control this time, so maybe we can get some more bids and get a better price and get a little better service. And I also went to the decommissioning meeting with Brookfield. I didn't think it went as good as the other meetings had gone. They're going to be sending out the final draft. Is that what you would call it?
Yeah, final report.
Final report here, and then the towns will be, all the townspeople will be able to go to it and give their opinion. I believe it's going to be in Hollis because they have a new, bigger room. So when we hear when the date is, we will certainly announce it because we want as many people there as we can get. We have worked, the committee has worked really hard trying to get some things, and we'll just wait and see. And we have someone is probably going to speak about that in a minute. Hopefully. No pressure. Any old business?
None that I've got to report.
New business.
Probably going to segue into the dam and everything, so.
Watch your mouth.
Yeah.
pet food drive again this year. The town of Buxton is collecting dog food and cat food donations on behalf of No Bowl Empty Pet Pantry, located in Waterboro. Donations can be dropped off at the town hall during normal business hours, beginning Monday, September 29th, through Tuesday, November 4th, Election Day. The girls in the front office take this very serious. Last year, they beat all the other towns around. So we would like to be a two-time winner and beat all these other towns. And it's for a good cause, and just bring your donations by, and if you don't want to bring dog food or cat food, donations will be accepted, and they'll go to the Waterboro No Bowl Left Empty Pet Pantry. Executive Order 25-26-01-003, in order to approve 20 hours of vacation leave for Kevin Kimball.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? That's 3 with 2 absent. Executive Order 25-26-01-004, in order approving 8 hours of vacation leave for Donna Marie Buckley.
Motion to table.
Second.
All those in favor of table?
Motion
All those in favor of her having a vacation day? All,
We're all good. We're all good.
3 yes, 2 absent. Executive Order 25-26-01-005, in order to approve 32 hours of vacation leave for John Myers.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? That's 3 with 2 absent. Executive Order 25-26-01-006, an order approving the hire of Dallas Nason as a full-time laborer at Public Works effective September 30th, 2025, at a rate of $24.47 an hour.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? That's 3 with 2 absent. Executive Order 25-26-01-07, in order to approve an abatement of real estate taxes for 2025-2026 in the amount of $3,614.94 for MAP 2, Lot 55-1.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? That's 3, 2 absent. And that is the same problem as we had last week. They were double billed. The computer messed up, and so they were double billed. So we didn't give anybody a discount. It was just because they got charged twice. Executive Order 25-26-01-008, an order approving an abatement for real estate taxes for 2025-2026 in the amount of $152.76 for MAP 6, Lot 7.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? That's 3 with 2 absent. Executive Order 25-26-01-009, in order to approve a supplemental tax certification for fiscal year 25-26 in the amount of $919.98 for MAP 6, Lot 7B.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? That's 3 with 1 absent, 2 absent. Executive Order 25-26-01-010, in order to adopt the rules of the board for fiscal year 2025-2026.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? That's 3, 2 absent. And that's for the selectmen. Any executive orders by his initiative? Accounts payable and payroll warrant. Executive Order 25-26-01-001, an order approving expenditures as documented in payroll warrant 27.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? That's 3 with 2 absent. and that amount was $115,433.98. Executive Order 25-26-01002, an order approving expenditures is documented in Accounts Payable Warrant 28.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? That's 3 with 2 absent, and that amount is $75,198.47. Next Selectmen meeting will be Wednesday, October 8th at 7 p.m. The next Planning Board meeting will be held Monday, October 14th at 7 p.m. Any other business?
None to be brought forward.
Public questions and comments?
Mark Woodruff, Buxton, and I'm on the decommissioning committee with David and Heath. And I just wanted to follow up from last week. There was a couple of people here asking questions about the decommissioning, and I just thought it would be helpful to elaborate on some of the responses that Heath and David gave. One of them was about getting minutes of the decommissioning meetings. We've had 3 so far, and there aren't meeting minutes per se. There is what the facilitator calls a outcomes memo, and at some point, you'll see that in the form of this draft study report that, like Heath said, should be out by the middle of October. So there are no minutes, like I said, but those minutes, or what the committee's been discussing, will be reflected in the study report that Brookfield will be making public shortly. And then there was another comment I think David made about about some things being kept secret, and that's true. There are a couple of things that come to mind. First of all, the committee is really the only group that has seen this draft study report so far, and that was at Brookfield's request that we keep it to ourselves, because in my mind, Brookfield is I don't want to say using in a bad sense, but they've formed this review committee, this decommissioning committee, kind of to get a first pass of what the public, or how the public might respond to the study report. So that's what we've been doing for these past 3 meetings, is just saying, look, you guys have, overlooked this, or we'd like you to put in a new fire suppression system. So there's been a lot of discussion about several key topics like that, and we'll get some sense of where Brookfield's going with this study report, but really all they're doing is reporting the data from the studies that they've been conducting for the past 2 years. We won't really have a sense of what their plan will be until like later in the year or early next year, when they file their decommissioning plan. And that's kind of turning the page, or starting a new chapter with that decommissioning plan, because then we'll really know which direction that they're headed. The other thing that has been kind of kept secret, I think David was alluding to at last week's meeting, is there's certain maps and cross sections of the dam and the powerhouse, and that's just off limits to the public. That's the way it is. It's been that way since 9/11. But I did have a chance to look at a couple of those drawings. One of the representatives from Brookfield showed me those drawings after the meeting last Friday, and I think they are kind of useful. There was a nice cross-section of the Rogers Fiber Mill that would be useful if the town wanted to pursue some sort of revitalization or doing something with that to make it more attractive than what it is now. So, yeah, I think that's the major things that were discussed last time. I do want to emphasize that we're going to be seeing a draft study plan this month, and then there'll be an opportunity for the public to discuss that and comment on it probably at the end of October. There was an email the other day kind of getting a feel of when the committee members would be available. And then there's the study report, the study plan. Oh, I got my words confused. The study report comes out this month. The decommissioning plan comes out later in the year. And it's very important to understand the difference between those two. One's just reporting the data. The other one is the actual plan of what they intend to do to the Bar Mills hydroelectric station. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
Ellen Dakotas. So my question is then, all right, so there's a report at the end of October. Is that the report that the public will see?
Yes.
And how will that be shared with people in town? Yeah, yes, if you have it, please do.
Yeah, so my understanding is that Brookfield will use its website for the Bar Mills decommissioning to make that report available. That's the sense I've gotten so far. It's a it's a 200-page report. And so they're not going to be printing that out for everyone. And on top of that, there's 5 or 6 appendices with the consultants' reports. So we'll be able to access that, I believe, on their website.
And then, okay, so that's kind of comprehensive. Is that what people in town will have to see before a public meeting?
Yes, yeah, they'll have an opportunity to review that report before the public meeting at the end of October.
Okay, so that they can pose questions if they have to, because that's really a big task for people. And then the decommissioning plan, is that based upon the public hearing with Hollis and Buxton? And is that the final, that goes to the federal, the FERC?
Right.
Okay.
Right, so if I could just clarify,
Yep.
the study report will have that public meeting at the end of October.
Right.
And then there'll be a 45-day comment period where the public can submit more comments. Excuse me. And there was something else, some other question you had there I wanted to be sure of.
Well, I have 2 actually, but, okay, thank you. But then, then at the end of the year, there's going to be a decommission plan filed. That goes to the federal
Yes.
regulatory. Okay, is that based upon the October meeting? And
Right.
does that just go then, or do the public have a chance to comment on that final report?
They will.
They will.
And the report, or the decommissioning plan, is based on the data from the study report.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, I just think, right, and if people have questions, what I'm thinking is there a way that the residents can receive input before the meeting with Brookfield and interpreted by somebody else besides Brookfield? Just based upon the past meetings we've had with them, it was a little, well, it was their point of view. And I just think if some other something to kind of interpret. I don't know how many people are going to be able to decode a 200-page kind of engineering-based document. Is there a way that that could be explained to residents before they go to the public meeting so that more people might come to the meeting and ask questions?
I don't think it's going to be any problem with people being there. I think the
Yeah.
place will be packed because people are bothered by a lot of it.
But
But-
so they'll come with questions without perhaps having read the 200 pages, and it will have to be interpreted for them.
Hopefully they're more receptive to the public's, like Mark said, I think they used us as a sounding board. We raised, over 200 questions? Looking at that,
From
from
the past
that,
meetings? Right, and they responded to a lot of those. Brookfield responded to a lot of the public meeting. You said that.
Yeah,
Yes.
they've responded,
Okay.
or they will be responding to a lot of our comments when they reissue the draft study report.
Okay, very good. I just think it's important. There's a lot of, there are major things going on. We have the dam, and we have the bridge, and we have Eco Maine. And I think the more that people in town, there's a lot of confusion still around Eco Maine and the differences in how things are handled, that type of material. People don't completely understand the difference between what Eco Maine is doing versus when we weren't with Eco Maine. So I'm just asking that we present more information to people in town, because our tax money is going towards these things. Thank you.
anybody else?
Dave Harmon, Buxton. As far as the Eco Maine, are you with me?
I'm listening.
Oh, okay. As far as the Eco Maine deal, for years they've been trying to get people over here to separate the stuff and all that. And now you bring your stuff in there and it all goes into the same bin. Is there any difference money-wise if they still keep it separated?
We get charged $80 a ton for recyclable. When it goes into Eagle, Maine, it goes on a conveyor belt and it's separated there. And plastic goes in one way, cardboard might go another way. Cans, they have a magnetic, and so they separate everything in there.
Okay, so it wouldn't, as one of my teachers used to say, behoove us to continue separating it?
No, and one of the problems which they made very clear at the meeting the other night, 10 years ago, the biggest recycler was newspapers. That was their bread and butter, recycling newspapers. They got big money for it. Now, there's no nobody gets the newspaper, so there's no recycling for that. There is recycling for cardboard, and they do get a little bit of money for that. There's not really any recycling for glass. They do recycle it, and they polymerize it, and they keep it, store it, and every once in a while, someone will want to buy some, but they use it as aggregate, because there's just no one around here wants it. And it's too expensive to ship, like out to New Mexico or places like that. And then, what was the other thing they have a lot of that they haven't been able to get rid of?
Plastic.
The plastic.
Plastic is one of them, because there's so many different variances of
You
plastic.
know, the plastic, like Poland Spring bottles, clear stuff, they can get rid of that. But like Downy or Tide, those type of things, There's no market right now. They're not getting money for it. They're basically having to pay to get rid of it.
And that's funny because over here, they won't take number one, which is a clear plastic. You throw those in the trash, and they want the number two, number five. I think it's number five. Number two mostly. But
We just got into this Ego Main thing. The both of us have been to an orientation and then the meeting the other night, and there's a learning curve, what we need to do to best suit the town and save the most money in the long run. One of the things that was really impressive was that out of 100 pounds of trash, only 10 pounds goes to their
The landfill.
landfill. And when we were there was a truck sitting there that was taking the dust from the furnace, and there was one that was taking the metal. And the metal was falling into the container just as much as, the ash, and they sell the steel. So, and that's out of the big furnace. So they're really, with this new facility they're building, there's going to be a lot of changes with recycling for them, which will be for us if we want to. So
last week or the week before, you said something about CIA. Is that a new contract with them to buy the metal
it's an
and stuff?
agreement, it's not a contract. But yes, they brought 2 dumpsters down here, 40-yard containers, and Greg will call them when one is full, and they guaranteed us at least $85 a ton for it, and there is no charge for the dumpsters. We worked that out with them. They wanted to charge us for the dumpsters, and there's $125 or $129 shipping, for their truck to come pick it up. And not Ego Main, but Casella was charging us $269 to come pick that up and take it wherever they were taking it. I don't know where they were taking it. So we just think, it's a local company, hopefully, it seems like we'll get treated fairly. There's at least 6 local towns around that have switched to him for that. And we're gonna give it a try. It's not a 5-year contract or a 2-year contract. We could, if we're unhappy, we can go back to having Casella haul it to wherever they're hauling it.
Speaking of the dumpsters, I had brought up, 3 or 4 meetings ago, it was supposed to be on the warrant last year for the tearing up part of that over by the transfer station and putting cement down for the dumpsters. Is that going on the special town meeting?
Yes, it is.
And the other question I had was, you voted on the rules of the board. Do they change every year, or?
No, they just have to be renewed every year. The rules said, basically that the form that we use, call to order, a pledge of allegiance, meeting minutes, all those things have to be on this form, and we have to go by this form.
Okay.
And that was the biggest part of it, was just, and we've done it every year.
Yeah.
It's just, procedure, in case something changed, I guess. So it's just so we are uniform.
Yep. Thank you.
Anybody else? Hearing none, I'll call for adjournment at 7:37.
So moved, sir.
All those in favor? That's 3 with 2 absent. Thank you and have a safe week. And don't get to bring in your pet food.